We are going to be looking at electrons and how electrons fill in the atom. You probably already have guessed that electrons, well, of course there's a nucleus, but electrons will fill that first energy level before they fill the second energy level and before they fill the third energy level. But then how do you know, do they fill the S's, P's, D's? What order do they fill in? And our periodic chart, there are different ways, like some people have charts and columns, but our periodic chart is actually the nicest way to really figure out what's going on. And there's a lot of arrows on here, so make sure that you start at the right spot. But this is what it starts with. You start in the 1s, and helium's kind of out of place in this model. Helium really, it's just helium that's slightly out of place. But this would be one electron here. Helium has 2 electrons. One of them is like in hydrogen's position, and then you just layer helium's extra electron on top of it. So in this picture, we start with hydrogen's electron, and then we add in helium's electron. And then if we want to keep we're going to keep filling this up. We follow the arrow, and it goes from here over to here. So the next thing that fills up is the 2s, and that makes sense. That's the second energy level. So this atom will put an electron in, and then this atom has one more electron. So they all have the same configuration as the atom before, but it just adds one more electron. And we're just going to keep going across. So these are our 2 p's. This is how the p's fill. And this is due to something called Hund's rule that we'll talk about in a minute. They like to fill separately, and then they like to fill up. So if you want to think 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, that's how they like to do it. We're going to keep going until we get all of our D's filled. So we're going to follow back over here from there over to here. That's our 3s. And he's got an electron that gets put in, and then we're going to go over here. There's another electron that gets put in. And then we're going to go across, and now we're at the 3 p's. So again, same idea. They fill singly, and then they start pairing. Then we keep going. So we've got our 4s, and then we have our 3d. Now, what just happened? This is the first time that this happened. Our 4s orbital, and our 3d orbital, our 4s actually falls slightly below the 3d. Here's the thing. The 3s all have these energy levels, and these d's, if you remember, they had those like funky shapes where high and low and sideways. And then our 4s, he's very, very close in these levels. Once we get into this section, it starts to fill in here like this. It's going to fill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again, it's going to pair the other direction. And that's how we use this chart.